All right, so we're joined by the Chancery Court Judge, District 3, Hinds County, Miss Tametrice Hodges. We are so thankful for you taking some time out of your busy schedule for us today. This is our business law class. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School. We're recording this for all of our friends at Ridgeland High School, Madison Central High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So we thank you so much for taking some time for us today to talk about the court system in here in the local area and your great career and some of the ways that the law and not just on the in the court system, but the elections that are coming up in November can affect these kids when they start voting and how that will affect them when they actually step into a chancery courtroom. And just because you step into a chancery courtroom does not mean you're going to jail. So I think that's very important as well. So before we get into what all it is you do in the court system and how it all breaks down, tell us a little bit about your background. You are from Jackson, went to Piney Woods, then just take us from there because you've had a great career in law already.
All right. So again, I'm Judge Tametrice Hodges, but I'll soon be known in my district as Judge Tametrice Hodges Lindsay, as I just got married earlier this
Oh,
month.
congratulations!
Thank you. And so I am from Jackson. I attended Walton Elementary School, Rowan Middle School when it was open here in Hinds County in Jackson, and attended the historical Piney Woods Country Life School where I graduated class valedictorian and was heavily recruited and got to attend Denison University out of state in Greenville, Ohio, which is 45 minutes from Columbus. So go Buckeyes. I'm a big Buckeye fan. We didn't make it. Michigan made it and won, but we'll talk about that during football season more. After I graduated from college, I returned back to Jackson to attend law school at Mississippi College School of Law. And where after I graduated, I got the opportunity to work at Morgan and Morgan. And we all know Morgan and Morgan is for the people. And I got a lot of experience of working with injured workers and really not just with them, but just their families as well. Because when a person is injured on a job, it not only affects them, but it also affects their family. Because if you can't work, that means you can't eat, and that affects your family big time. And so I soon learned I had an affinity for families. And eventually, after 4 years at Morgan and Morgan, opened my own law practice specializing in family law. And I really enjoyed that because that's what I do now as a judge. I got to take people to court to get them divorced or to help them. And when I represented men, to either help them get divorced or be able to see their children. Because men, they approach the legal system with their knees shaking, mainly because they feel they may not have any rights when it comes to the mothers of their children or when they're opposite women. And so now, as a judge, because I experienced that a lot firsthand with representing men and learning how they felt as a judge, a female judge, especially, I try to make the path very smooth, not just for men, but everyone, but definitely for men. And I go out of my way to explain each and everything that's happening. And I try to make sure everything is very even, especially when the law calls for it. So I spent a lot of time representing dads, helping them see their children, get their child support modified, or even getting it erased, to say it plainly like that, because it may not have been their baby, or the child has grown up and they're now 21 and they're still being made to pay child support for some reason. So I've enjoyed a lot of that. After I had my own law practice, became a prosecutor, and that's when I really, really, really started to enjoy the practice of law even more, because then I got to be a hero for families by making sure the person that hurt their family or their family member went to jail. And so I definitely specialize in jail a lot, high bonds or no bond, if you killed someone or you hurt a child. And then the opportunity came up after those 4 years. I got a chance to run for my boss's aunt's seat, Judge Denise Owens' seat. And I ran a very highly successful campaign, and we won, thank God, because we did a lot of fighting. And now I'm here and I'm going into my second year as judge.
That's awesome, and you are part of a historic group of women that pretty much all the new judges in Hinds County were women, including my friend Tiffany Grove, who's a graduate of Madison County Schools at Madison Central. So you women are doing a lot of great things in the Chancery Court there. Now, you talk about you having an experience in civil law and in criminal law, and there is a very big difference in those two. And that's cool that you've done
Yeah.
both because we've all watched the TV shows. We watched the Law and Order. I was a big fan of the show All Rise. You know, we watched those shows, and they are dramatic and they are cool, but that is such a small, minuscule part of what actually happens in the court system.
Right. Now, I will say that All Rise, it kind of gave a better view on what happens day to day in the court world. I liked how they focus more on the court system and the people in the courtrooms. Like I love Lola and how she tried to make things more even based on her experiences as a former prosecutor and then also her cultural background. And how they focus on all the other lawyers too, things going on in their personal lives. And so some of that does happen in real court because sometimes people think judges are not people. We are real people and we have feelings. And also as a judge, like as a chancery court judge, I don't necessarily put people in jail like I would if I would be a circuit court judge. A circuit court judge handles criminal cases and civil cases. But here in Hinds County, the criminal docket seems to supersede the civil docket more. And I know that personally because I'm a former prosecutor in Hinds County. So we spend a lot of time in court prosecuting people who have committed crimes. But as a chancellor, I've only had one time to put someone in jail last year, and that's when I put a whole family in jail for disobeying my order. So in Chancery Court, if once a judge puts an order in place, you disobey it, you can be held in contempt. And sometimes the consequences of contempt are jail, or it can be a hefty fine, or maybe a tongue lashing. But I go for jail. That way we can all be on one accord the next time.
Yeah, and I think, and you talked about how men see the justice system with their knees shaking. I think it's important for people to understand, especially these kids, that one, you have rights as an employee, you have rights as a citizen. You know, the Chancery Court deals with a lot of paternity suits, they deal with adoptions, divorces, will and testament, property disputes. So it's important to know how that court can be there to serve you. Just because, like we said, if you're stepping into a Chancery courtroom, nobody is at risk of going to jail unless you said they're being held in contempt. So it's not other people gonna get me and take me and take me to the big house. It's a whole different situation. So I think it's important for kids to know that they have rights as employees and as people.
Yeah, I like how you said Chancery Court is there to help because we are here to help in Chancery Court. Because when you come to Chancery Court, you're really trying to get an issue resolved that you and your family members are having. I always tell people Chancery Court is about children, family, land, and estates. And so, like if mama dies or dad dies or big mama dies, big daddy dies, if they left a will, great. But sometimes people still want to fight over the will. And so the judge, we have to sit and we listen to it and decide who's going to get Big Daddy's boat, even though he said little JoJo was going to get the boat. And then, of course, we're here to help when we have a land dispute. Jane and Sue may live next door to each other and they share a property line, but somehow Jane just cannot keep her horses on her own side of the property line, or maybe Sue has decided to create her own dam in the backyard and now all the water is flooding out Jane's backyard. And so as a judge, I have to sit and listen and also try to resolve that dispute between Sue and Jane regarding their property line. Or we're here to help when children, their parents may not be available to raise them. And so a third party may be available to raise them, like I was raised by a third party. And so that third party will come into court and say, hey, I have baby Mika here and I want to raise baby Mika as my own. And so that means baby Mika will be getting adopted, or baby Mika could be getting a guardianship. Like grandma can say, look, my child is, I don't know where my child is, but I want to make sure my grandbaby grows up in a good environment. And so grandma can come in and get the guardianship over the grandbaby. So we are here to totally help. Even when people are married and they say, look, I can't live with you anymore. I am sick of it. I am sick of you. So I want a divorce. And so as a judge, we'll listen to it and we'll help you get a divorce. Even though Mississippi, we're very high on family. We're heavy on family in Mississippi, and I am too. And so if you can stay together, that great. But sometimes people are just better apart, which is better in the long run. And so we can get you a divorce as long as it meets one of the reasons for divorce. So we help in a lot of different ways in Chancery Court. We try to put families on the best footing that we possibly can so they can coexist, whether they are together or apart.
Yeah. Now, another thing I wanted to briefly talk about is, if kids are interested in working in the legal system, they don't necessarily have to be a judge. They don't have to be an attorney. There are a lot of great careers in the court system that work with you. Hold on. Did I just get kicked? You got to be kidding me.